to hold her weight in mind. We were on a staircase in our old house, and my sister had just passed out down the stairs. I grabbed one of the handrails and did my best to make sure that she did not hit her head too much and cause a concussion. Whenever I looked down on the landing, I realized that her arm was in a weird position, and I wondered why, and then I remembered whenever I pulled her hand, I pulled too hard and caused the joint in her elbow to pop. I disregarded the pop because it was, I was in an adrenaline rush. I learned that day that medical knowledge is good for everyone to know, no matter what your age is. So today I'm going to teach you guys joint mobilization. This is what it's going to look like whenever I'm done. And then it's kind of important that everyone knows because it's really common in kids. You see parents all the time pick up kids by the arms and swing them, and they're still growing and really fragile, so we have a lot of kids that happens to. I'm going to ask someone, Keith, you can come here so I can do this to you. He's going to be my victim today.
Can you sit down?
Yeah, if you don't mind. So today I'm going to be using these things called triangle bandages. They're basically huge band-aids with no design on them. So the first thing you want to do whenever you walk up to a patient is make sure you have proper PPE on. Yeah. Sorry. This is my sister. She's the one that fell. She was 4 years older than me. This is kind of what it looks like whenever you pop it at a place. You can see why it would be really painful for a kid. So the first thing you want to do when you walk into a scene is make sure that you have proper protection on, which is gloves on. You want to make sure that you keep your body away from as sterile as it can be, because you don't know where they've been and they don't know where you've been, and you just want to keep it that way. So after I put my gloves on, I'm going to look around and make sure that my scene is safe. There's a lot of places where, for EMTs especially and first responders, it's not safe. We have these nice little things that say paramedic, don't shoot. Never want to be mistaken for the police, that's never good. They don't like that for some reason. So with this triangle bandage, the first thing I'm going to do is, the cool thing about your body, sorry I'm kind of jumping around, but the cool thing about your body is that it's self-splitting, which means that your body knows where it hurts and I don't know where that is. So your body's going to tell your arm to put it in whatever position it needs to be in to keep it from hurting. So when I walk up to him, he's going to be holding his arm or something in a way that makes it not hurt. And right now he's stabilizing it himself, it's not moving, so it's no longer in any risk of getting further injury. So I'm going to ask him to keep it there until I get this bandage ready. I'm going to go ahead and roll this out, show the full triangle. And it doesn't really matter which one you take, just as long as it's a point. I like to use the one down here, it's like a big Dorito. Just take this one. You're going to tie a nice little knot here. You want to make it sure that it's far enough up that it can hold a sling. The reason why I'm using this instead of one of the medical ones is because in our training, they just assume that you work for the poorest district possible. So they want to make sure you know how to deal with whatever you have. So after I tie this knot, I'm going to cradle his arm in it. And then, because it's triangle, I have two sides, so I'm going to take the first side and put it up over here, around his shoulder as soon as I find the right part, right there. And I'm going to come back over here and make sure that it's in the place. And yeah, move that forward. Tie it around his back. It looks really comfortable, and it kind of is. I've been in them before, but we have a lot more equipment that makes you much more comfortable. You can keep holding that for me. Make sure it stays up there. When I'm done, our goal is to make sure that he can't move it. I won't tie it too tight because I don't want him to suffocate or anything. All right, now a really important part to this is to do what we call PMS. It's not Piston syndrome. It's actually pulse, motoring, and movement. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure he has a pulse. He does. He's still alive. That's good to know. And ask him to squeeze my hand. And then can you move your fingers for me? Now we know he has movement. This is important because if he has it before, but not after, I messed up really bad and there's a big problem. So we're going to take this other one, and we're going to take this, kind of make it like a swath around just to make sure that it's even more mobilized, that he can't move it. Just going to tie it around him like he's a hostage. You want this one to be a little bit more tight because it's taking the bulk of the pressure. It's kind of hard with gloves on. Sorry, can you breathe?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Now he should have just let his arm hang, and it shouldn't move. I didn't tie it well enough because I didn't want to make him not be able to breathe. But that, in essence, is joint mobilization. We're going to do PMS one more time. He still has a pulse. Can you squeeze my fingers? And can you still wiggle? So that is a successful joint mobilization. At this point, we would go ahead and assess anything else. He's talking to me, so I know he has airway movement and stuff like that. I see no other trauma in him, so at this point I'm just going to go ahead and load him up in the ambulance and take him to a better care facility. In conclusion, I've taught you about PPE, which is the correct way to isolate yourself from someone else to make sure you don't get contaminated and they don't get contaminated. I've talked about how to do proper splinting and reassessing their movements and pulses. I would like to leave you guys with this quote by Abraham Lincoln, one of our finest leaders. Next to creating a life, the finest thing a man can do is save one. Here's some pictures of people, and that's joint mobilization. Thank you guys.